This video is produced with the help of Year 13, and it is on what were the weaknesses of the 1917 Provisional Government in Russia. So the 1917 February Revolution in Russia took everyone by surprise. It was spontaneous and unplanned, and 300 years of Romanov Tsarist rule was over. But what would replace this? Well, a provisional government was created of 12 members of the original Duma, the parliament, and it was led by Prince Lvov. However, it had three key weaknesses. First of all, the provisional government was unelected and lacked legitimacy. It lacked authority, it wasn't in any case elected, and this meant that it only was provisional. It needed to have elections to make it much more permanent. So it promised elections, but these were always delayed. Critics argued that this was because they wanted to keep the power to themselves. There was, secondly, dual authority. The provisional government had to work in partnership with the Petrograd Soviet. So you had this dual authority between the different sides. So Petrograd Soviet represented workers, peasants, and soldiers. It did not see itself as an alternative government at the very start. However, its existence alone helped create issues and weaken confidence in the provisional government. This order clearly showed that the orders of the provisional government were only binding if agreed by the Petrograd Soviet. It was also clear that the army was not in the hands of the provisional government. It was actually taking orders from the Petrograd Soviet. However, despite the worries about dual authority, initially things actually seemed to produce results. Political prisoners were released. There was freedom of the press. There was recognition of trade unions. There was introduction of an 8-hour working day. And there was disbandment of the hated Okhrana, the secret police, under the Tsarist times. However, these reforms also brought problems, because releasing political prisoners only helped to radicalise a fragile situation. Freedom of the press seems very good, but allowed opponents of the provisional government the chance to openly criticise it through things like the Bolshevik Pravda newspaper. And getting rid of the Okhrana, the secret police, actually removed the chance to monitor and control opponents. So the provisional government inherited the social and economic problems as well created by the First World War. You've got inflation, you've got hunger, you've got land issues, and of course you still have the war. Many thanks for watching.